All right, we've set up a simple event. Now let's make it a little bit more advanced. So here's the event we set up. And now what we're going to do is go into the edit area. We're going to click on the pencil. And we're going to add a few things to it, okay? The top is all that's really required to run an event, but if you want to get a little bit more advanced, which you probably do in many cases, the reference comment is just that. It's a reference comment box for only you. None of your attendees will see it. Only you will see it. I'm going to put afternoon because I'm going to say that's an afternoon event. Seminar delayed join time. This is how long you'll allow your attendees to come late, okay? So maybe you want to cut them off at 20 minutes. Maybe you want to cut them off at 60, 90, whatever it is. It doesn't make any difference. Seminar text, you've got an HTML box here. This is really for whatever you want to put in here. Handouts, messages, anything like that. I'm going to put in a call to action. It's URL 1. If by chance you are not using streaming, then you've got this drop-down button where you can put in other URLs. We've got other tutorials on that. So, let's enter in a call to action. And we'll make this call to action come up at 30 seconds so that you can see it relatively quickly into my event. Obviously, you would probably put it much further into your event than that. We can also say, hey, how long do we want this call to action to appear? I'm going to put it in for 15 seconds. Actually, I'm going to put it in a little bit longer. I'm going to put it in 70 seconds. You can make the determination, do we want that to have a timer? I'm going to say yes. We'll put a timer in there. Now, if you wanted to offer some upsales or some downsales or some different packages in your webinar, you've also got a second call to action that works just like the first. So you could fill this in. Now, you can't have a call to action fire simultaneously to another one. You can only have one call to action at a time. So just make sure you enter in the appropriate minutes and seconds. So if we did have a second one, it's going to come in after this one is fired, after this one has played for the duration that you've set. And if 2 wasn't enough, you've now also got the ability to put in a third call to action. Pretty cool, huh? You can choose what size your video should be, 4:3, 16:9. You can put in a URL of your countdown pick. If you want this to be showing before your event actually starts, you just enter that there. We've got a color theme. I'm going to pick white. Toolbar buttons. Whenever you're doing a live or a scheduled sort of event, or live seemingly event, make sure it says minimal. That will give your attendees control over the size of their screen and over their volume, but nothing else. Social media links, pretty self-explanatory. You always want a Q&A box. Whatever email address you put in here is what is where the questions will come back. Redirect URL. This is when someone clicks your video, they will be sent to this address. I personally never use that. Number of seats to display. This has nothing to do with the amount of attendees that can join your webinar. This is how many you will be showing on your video page. Okay? Fill in whatever's appropriate for you. User simulator. This has nothing to do with the people that are actually at your event. This is strictly a simulator. Okay, you can choose to show that or to hide that. If you want to put in Google Analytics tracking code, you can there. If you've got any additional tracking code, you can put that in there. And if I were split testing webinars, what I would do is put the ID number of the other split testing webinars right in here, separated by a comma. We've got a little question mark right there. Okay, so you can split test anything you want. You could split test the webinars, you could split test the offers, you could split test the buttons, you could split test the times. It doesn't matter. You would just create another event and then take that ID number and put it right in here. And you can put as many as you like. And then we'll hit Update Seminar. Let me show you where the ID number is. And let me also show you what these buttons do. This is the preview countdown. This shows you exactly what your attendees would get if they came to your website or your web event early. This is your ID number right up here. So this is actually what we would give to your attendees. And that's what it would look like. These, remember, these were an option. You can choose to have these or not have these. I think it's cool. We can choose to add to Outlook, add to Google. You know, if people have questions, they can enter them right in here. And then when they hit submit, they'll go to that address that you put in previously. Gosh, isn't that cool? We got the phone ringing, we got reminders, we got all kinds of cool stuff here. Excuse me for 1 minute. There we go. Now, here's what they'll see when your event is live. Remember, I put in the download links here. Here's the download link that we entered in. They can continue to use the Q&A box here. And then what we're going to see is we're going to see a call to action button pop up. Remember, we put in 100 for the number of spaces. You can choose to put in whatever number you want here. Here's the spots taken. This is the user simulator. And you'll notice that add to cart button has popped up. Now I want you to also notice this. It says ends in 1 minute and 2 seconds. The final minute, it turns red just for a little added urgency, a little added oomph to your attendees to respond, to act now. So, getting back to this, you know, this user simulated, easy for me to say. You can tell it's early in the morning. Is based on this number here. So if I put in 10,000 spaces, the spots taken is going to respond appropriately to that. If I put in 2,000, spots taken is going to respond appropriately to that. So we can see that this offer is just about ready to end. It'll end very shortly. And your attendee has to make the decision now to either do it or to not do it. It's going, it's going. And of course, what's going to happen is the add to cart button is going to disappear. So, and this is a really nice little compliance tool that we utilize, and we found it helps people stick on your webinar quite nicely. So if they want to stay in, then they'll click that off and continue to stay there. All right, that's how you put together a more advanced event. And in the next video, let's check out the registration page options, which are really cool.